Hello guys, good afternoon. Good afternoon everyone. Isang maulang hapon sa ating lahat. Okay, so today is rescheduled lecture. We are supposed to have our lecture yesterday, but biglang lumakas yung ulan, no? Hindi na natin affected yung ating internet connectivity. Okay, so ayan guys, we are going to tackle. I'm sorry I cannot even present my presentation again kasi as I've stated, pag ganitong maulan, medyo mahinang internet connectivity dito. Yeah? So bear with me. I'm going to lecture without my presentation, but rest assured that I will be sending you a copy of the recorded lecture. No? And for those who have not yet downloaded the module of our subject from Module 1 to Module 3, click nyo lang po yung dating link na in-upload natin. Na-update na po yun. Kung na-download mo na yung first, i-redownload mo ulit para ma-update yung module guys. Okay? So without further ado, so as not to consume much of your time, let us start already our discussion on Module 3. So under Module 3, we'll be covering the concept of policing. Dapat nauna ito, pero I think it's good first to introduce to you the concept of globalization before we can proceed any further. Anyway, if you have a question, same rules apply. If you have a question, you may interrupt us while we are lecturing, or you may message on the chat box, no? Para makita ko kung meron kayong mga tanong. Okay? So, now let's start with the topic that I have prepared to you for this session. No? So, we are going to tackle about the concept of policing. Specifically, the need for innovative policing. No? So, ano yung ibig nating sabihin sa ating topic ngayon? Innovative policing, of course, we are going to look into the need of innovation in terms of policing. As you all know, the very concept of policing had remained the same. No? Kung bakit meron tayong policing, ganoon pa rin kung bakit nila ginawa yung konsepto ng policing, no, during the early days. So basically, the fundamental principle of policing is still the same, no? That's for the purpose of keeping the peace, no? Enforcing the law and protecting properties. As you know, no? The police power is one of the most important power that the state possess, or that the government possess, or they should control. No? Kasi napakahalaga ng police force, napakahalaga ng police power para sa isang gobyerno. Ito kumbaga yung ngipin ng ating pamahalaan para sa pagpapatupad ng kung anumang batas, kung anumang polisiya ang nais nilang ipatupad. No? If you have probably noticed, no, para sa mga iba sa inyo that are very into readings foreign literatures or foreign news, mapapansin natin na yung mga bansa na merong mahinang police force, that would include also the military, since they are still holding the police force natin tinatawag, police power or policing power, no? Etong bansa na merong mahinang police power definitely is infestated by different criminal organizations, no? They're infestated by criminal entities, no? For example, Mexico. That's a good example. Bakit kaya sa mga bansang ito naglipanan yung mga tinatawag nating drug cartels, and why the government can't do anything about it to solve it, no? Bakit hindi sila makagawa ng paraan para puksain or paalisin, no, or hulihin lahat ng mga miyembro ng drug cartels na to? Why? It's because they are already being surpassed in terms of power by this criminal organization. And kung mas makapangyarihan na yung mga criminal organization than the government itself, no, then definitely talagang hindi mo na yan makokontrol. That is why the very concept of policing is very important for the government. No? As you have probably noticed right now during the administration of President Duterte, no? You will notice that there are a lot of favors. Di ba ang dami niyang binigay na pabor sa police organization, sa tri-bureau, sa military, and other forces, which holds yung tinatawag nating police power. Why? Because he realized, or he probably understand the importance of holding, no, of be able to control the police power. No? History teaches us that when there is a betrayal already, no, from those who holds the police power or have control over the police power, nagkakaroon na tayo ng tinatawag nating coup d'etat. Yan. So ilang presidente na ba ang napatalsik, napaalis sa pwesto dahil sa coup d'etat? And what is similar with this different ousting of the different presidents? Meron ng decline on his hold on to the police power. No? Marcos, for example, the late President Ferdinand Marcos, when the military forces and some of the police forces had already joined together, no, to support the people power, nagkaroon na ng diminish doon sa power kumbaga ng administration of the late President Marcos. No? So we had noticed that also nung cases nung pumalit sa kanya si Cory Aquino, no, na nagkaroon din tayo ng pag-diminish ng kanyang hold sa police power. That's why nagkaroon na naman ng tinatawag nating coup d'etat nangyari. No, that happens also during the regime of Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Now, not to let that happen, no, I think that's one of the strategy of the current administration to really make the PNP organization and other agencies that holds, no, that are in charge in the enforcement of the law, no, close to them as their allies. No? So, yan, that it just shows how important policing is to the existence of a government. Okay? Because policing protects us from evil entities, criminal entities, and so on. So the main purpose, as I've stated, of policing even before is keeping the peace, no? Sa pagpapanatili ng ating kapayapaan through the enforcement of the laws that are created by our society, no? Also the enforcement of the law and the protection of the properties. The act of policing, guys, does not only involve yung enforcing of the law, no? Kasali din dyan yung the prevention of crimes, no? If we are trying to prevent the existence of crime, that is also part of the policing program. As well as, no, if there are violations of the laws that we have, no, kasi when you are enforcing the law, and you know for a fact that if there is a violation of the law, meron din diyang tinatawag na sanctions, so the imposition of punishment na tinatawag. Also with the concept of rehabilitation, no? But since we're talking about the police power, then it's focused more on arrest, no, investigation, search and seizure, and so on. Now, then why are we going to be talking about innovative policing? The problem, what's the problem when we are talking about policing? Ano yung gusto nating i-solve, no? When we are talking about policing, ano yung gusto nating solusyonan, no? Bigyang pansin, bigyan ng kumbaga is attention, no? When we are focused on policing, syempre that's the resolution of criminality, no? The mere existence of criminality, that's one of the reason bakit nakuha or naimbento natin yung tinatawag nating policing, no, or the creation of the different policies, no? Bakit na-create ang law? Because they wanted to control the human acts that could cause yung tinatawag nating mass destruction, no, such as killing, no? Bakit natin pinagbawal ang pagpatay? Of course, if we are not going to restrain people from doing such act, anong mangyayari sa atin? Baka na maubos na lang tayo kapag hindi natin pinagbawal yan. And then why are we creating laws to protect each and every individual from stealing, from robbery, from any other act of property, crimes against property? Siyempre, it will be a cause of a lot of miseries and cause of a lot of criminal activities if we let each and every individual take the properties of one, no, without any restriction to it, di ba? Anong gagawin mo pag yung hard-earned money mo bigla na lang kinuha ng ibang tao? Tapos wala tayong batas na nagbabawal sa pagnanakaw and so on. So, pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng tinatawag nating the law of the jungle or yung Lex Taliones, if you have heard, no? Wherein they are following the concept of retaliation, an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, no? Ninakaw ka, di gantihan mo rin. Parang magiging ganun na. If we don't have policies that will punish us, that will punish such behavior, no, and impose sanction to it. So, now, as we discussed in our previous lecture, the world is changing. Nagbabago na ang panahon natin. No? We are improving, no? In terms of technological advancement, in terms of education, knowledge, communication, transportation, and many others. Di ba? Tumataas, habang nagde-develop ang isang bansa, habang nagde-develop ang buong mundo, no, nagde-develop din lahat ng aspeto ng buhay ng bawat mamamayan. That is why, no, we notice that there is also changes that are already imposed by criminal organization. No? Some crimes that existed today have probably was never been considered during the early days. Now, may mga crimes tayo ngayon na siguro kahit yung mga ninuno natin hindi nila na-imagine na pwede palang mangyari yon. With the globalization na nangyayari sa buong mundo, no? With the technological advancement, with the improvement on education, with improvement on communication and other aspects of our daily life, no? Kasabay rin nito ang changes or development on the or improvement on the different criminal entities, no? So nagkakaroon ng pag-evolve ng criminality, nagkakaroon ng pag-evolve ng crime, no? May mga bago ng crime ngayon like for example, due to the advancement on the technology, specifically the use of internet and computers, no? Nagkaroon na rin tayo ng crime related to that, no? Or crime being committed with the use of such instrument or such technologies. So we call that the cybercrime right now, no? Other crimes involves because of the improvement also of our communications, no? The improvement of our transportations, nagkakaroon na rin ng mass movement which causes the existence of transnational crimes, no? So itong mga ito are challenges that the law enforcement profession is facing. Therefore, no, if the problem develop or pag nag-evolve ang problem, the solution must also goes with it, no? Kung nagde-develop ng criminal organization, so there is a need also for the law enforcement organization to come up with an innovation on how they deal with the criminal problem. Therefore, the need for innovative policing, no? Makabagong pamamaraan ng pagpapatupad ng batas o pamamaraan ng pagresolba sa problema natin sa criminality. Okay? Of course, there are number of factors that really is making the problem on criminality more complex than it was before. No? Ano sa tingin nyo ang meron ngayon? No? At bakit napaka complex na ng mga criminal activities natin ngayon? For example is cybercrime is a good example. What makes cybercrime complex, no? Because dati alam lang natin, no, is pag crime na ganyan, there is a certain place, no? Meron tayong crime scene, di ba? Pag meron tayong crime scene, meron tayong physical evidences, yung body of the crime, like for example, what are the instrument that was used in the commission of the crime, what specific facts are we looking at to prove the crime, and so on. Like, yung simpleng pagpatay, if you are going to compare that to the crime of cybercrime, no? Pagpatay yan, definitely, you have a defined crime scene, correct? No? Meron kang physical crime scene na tinatawag. And under that crime scene, doon magkakaroon ng tinatawag nating investigation, no? The treasure island of criminal investigation, the crime scene itself. Nandun lahat ng pwede mong makuha, fingerprint, DNA, no? Ano pa? Other forensic evidences na pwedeng makalap doon sa physical crime scene. If you're going to compare such circumstances, the same with cybercrime, pag cybercrime, no, what we're looking at are multiple crime scene. Hindi lang iisang crime scene yan. Ano yung crime scene mo? Let's say for example, no, minura-mura kita, tinakot-takot kita with the use of messenger, no? So asan ang crime scene dito? Was the crime scene the place kung saan ako noong nag-chat ako sa'yo? Was the crime scene is kung saan ka nung nag-chat ako sa'yo? Or ang crime scene ba is yung cellphone na ginamit ko pan-chat sa'yo? Or yung crime scene ba is yung cellphone mo na ginagamit mo nung na-receive mo yung message ko? No, asan ba ang crime scene? So it's really is that complicated right now to deal with the modern crimes that we have. That is why they noted that the crime problem right now is more complex than it was before, no? So with regards to evidences naman, no? Kasi pag homicide, we're looking at physical evidences, ano yung ginamit yung pagpatay, no? Is it a firearm? Is it a bladed weapon? Is it a blunt object? Or any other possible instrument that could be used to push through with the criminal intent of killing. Now, sa mga cybercrime natin, anong uri ng evidence ang tinitignan natin? Are we looking at physical evidences? Are we looking at digital evidences? No? No, pag we know for a fact the nature of digital evidences, grabe. Grabe din. No? The preservation of digital evidences is very complicated. You need to be familiar with the different softwares. You need to be familiar with the new procedures that we have right now in terms of collecting evidences, collecting digital evidences, and so on. No? Kasi baka mamaya inisip mo, dinilit nyo na yung conversation, so wala na. No? Wala na akong evidence. That's not true. No? Iba na ang treatment ngayon for the digital evidences. You can retrieve that. No, you can retrieve some information that was already deleted, no, and so on. So it really became much more complicated right now. So what are the factors that causes that? Ano yung mga factors na naging dahilan kung bakit naging ganito na ang landscape natin when it comes to policing and when it comes to criminality? Okay, so we have here at least three. Crime has become increasingly global and sophisticated in nature. That is what we are saying. No? Because of the advancement on transportation and communication, no? Right now, I can talk to somebody who is living in China or who is living in United States or who is even living in the European countries. You can talk to them. No? Dati, how can you be able to communicate with your loved ones, with your friends who are far, far from you? No? Yung mga nasa mga malalayong bansa, malalayong lugar, and so on. Right now, I may be speaking here in the municipality of Nagilian, and you are listening there in the municipality of Jones or any other part of Nagilian, no, or some any other part of Isabela, or some may be living in other provinces. So these are the improvement of communication. No? It's not only us, hindi lang tayo ang nagbe-benefit nito. Pati criminal organization nagbe-benefit din nito. No? Imagine a criminal organization, no, can communicate to another criminal organization in different countries. So nagkakaroon na tayo ng madalian na pag-transfer ng motive, tawag doon, strategies, no, informations, and also learning. No? Bakit ngayon nagkaroon ng kuno ISIS faction dito sa Pilipinas? Bakit kaya? How they had heard about it, no? So probably, no, may nakausap sila or may nag-influence, nag-indoctrinate sa kanila, which may be considered as an original member of the ISIS, and probably they just sympathize because they had come up with the ideologies of such terrorist organization, and they believe that they have the same goals. So pwedeng inadapt nila, no? Even nga ngayon, 'di ba, yung mga kabataan, for example, mass shooting, yung mga mass shooting na nangyayari in United States, no? Pwedeng mangyari din dito sa Pilipinas, especially if makakuha ng idea yung mga kabataan natin dito, no, through the different social media platforms. So with this, no, nagiging mabilis na lang ang pagtakbo or pag-transfer ng information, no, pag-transfer ng education, no, sa different part of the world, which make it more global. And with that, no, nakukuha yung mga different ideas and strategies na ito, at some of them usually adopt such information and leave it, no? Ginagawa din nila, no, the crime of replication na tinatawag, or imitation. So with that, no, the crime problem is really increasing that fast, na ganun kabilis, or talagang sobrang bilis ang pag-increase ng mga criminal activities natin because of such innovation in the different aspect of our life. Okay? Next is public expectations. Public expectation had grown too much. Correct? Tumaas yung public expectation natin. The improvements on the, sometimes I think of this also, no? When pag meron akong nakikitang mga PNP operation programs, di ba? Kung mahilig kang manood ng mga CSI, mga ganun. Di ba sometimes you are comparing the different operations that they're conducting in our country to what they're conducting in other countries, no? Even the very basic concept of comparative policing, no? Bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng comparative policing? That is because of the innovations that we have, and the ability already to be able to get a hand of this different information. Talagang nagkakaroon na tayo ng new ideas on how policing should be done, no? Me myself, I consider myself as an ordinary citizen, no? And if I'm looking at the different police operations that minsan parang nakukulangan, no? Nakukulangan to. Why? Because tumataas ng standard mo due to the influences of other countries, especially in their policing. Di ba? Mapapabilib ka sa mga how the police officer respond into crime doon sa different countries. How elite their police force therein, no? Gaano kaganda yung training na ginagawa nila, gaano kaganda yung kanilang mga equipments, mga barel, sasakyan, technologies, and so on, 'di ba? So all of those, no, na nakukuha mo, no, na information na kukuha mo from the different policing system that they have in other countries, you sometimes want to compare what you have, especially in our country, no? Minsan napagkukumpara ang pulis sa Japan ganito, samantalang ang pulis ng Pilipinas ganito, 'di ba? Minsan ginagawa lang nating biro-biroan 'yan, na for example, sabi nila sa sa Japan, ang response time nila mga 3 minutes nandun na sila, no? In USA, 2 minutes nandun na sila. Pag may tumawag ng tulong, tumawag sa 911, within 2 minutes, nandun na sila. And sa Pilipinas daw, no, wala pang tumatawag, nandun na. Why? Because, according to the joke that they are sharing, the police here in our country are the one who are committing the crime or the one who are involved in the criminal activities, which should not happen. Of course, joke lang naman yun, you will become a police officer someday, so I would expect that you will not be you will not be the same police that we just mentioned. Now, but that shows how our policing system in our country is being compared to other countries, and that shows how it affects the public perception in terms of effectivity and efficiency. No? Tumataas ang standard ng mga ordinary citizens sa ating mga kapulisan because they are being namumulat sila sa mga iba't ibang policing activities, policing programs of other countries. Na? So with that, talagang there's a need for comparative study in policing. Kailangan talaga itong comparative kasi tignan natin the best practices of these different countries. How can we adapt that? No? Pag may nakita ka sa ibang bansa na ganito ginagawa ng kapulisan, paano natin may a-apply yan sa atin sa Pilipinas? Yan yung very concept niya. No? Kaya talagang dapat they are keep innovating the police system that we have kasi the expectation goes higher. No? Sometimes the PNP organization minsan talagang kumbaga is na sosobrahan or tawag natin na demoralize sila because feeling nila na whatever they do hindi nila masatisfy ang community. That's true, no? Whatever the police officers do, no, mapamaganda man o mabuti, laging may negative feedback coming from the community, no? What if the possible reason, one of the possible reason for that is that their expectation is really high, no? So what the police organization is doing before, no, probably doing before the 90s, no, kung ano yung mga policies and programs nila nung 90s, you cannot expect that to be as effective as it was before, no, kung i-apply mo na siya ngayon. Why? Because noon, iba yung standard na ginagamit ng community sa pag-measure ng efficiency nila. Na kung nakita nila si police officer na nagpapatrol doon sa lugar, probably they are satisfied already with the police service. Right now, even if magpatrol ka diyan sa lugar, may masasabi pa rin sa iyo ang ating mga the member of the community. Why? They have this different standard already. No, siguro is they wanted more, no, because they probably have seen some other police forces in other countries that have done better. No, so that's one of the reason bakit mas tumataas or humihirap na ngayon yung issues natin on criminality because number one, the expectation had increased already. And number two, no, because of this wide information laxity, no, napakadali ng mag-convey ng information to other countries, the same, no, nagbabago na rin ang perception ng ating community. Okay? Next, with regards to finances naman, you see, ito yung na-notice ko. Kasi when we were talking about finances, budgets allotted by the government to a certain institution. What do you think will be the effect if the law enforcement agency is, it's not properly funded, kulang sa budget? Okay, may I ask somebody, no? Tingin nyo ba ang kapulisan natin, ang PNP organization, kulang sa pondo? Anyone who would volunteer? Tingin nyo kulang sa pondo ang ating police force? Yes, Miss Gemma. Yes, yes, kindly. Ulit.
Please dapat muna.
Ha? Miss Abad.
Parang, oo na.
Do you think that, ano?
Parang,
Do you think that the,
parang sa akin, sir,
yes, yes. Go on.
parang yes and no.
Uh-huh.
Kasi, sa pangyayari ngayon, sir, ang laki ng fund nila in the sense that sa taas ng sweldo ng mga uh, members of the uniform personnel natin.
Okay.
At the same time, no, kasi bakit hanggang ngayon, yung mga gamit nila is ang lilumaan na.
Tama.
Pwede,
No?
pwede naman nilang gamitin ibang fund sa pagbili ng mga gamit nila, yung hindi lang sa napunta sa sweldo.
I
Kaya lang
appreciate
ako sa
that.
akin, sir.
Yes, I appreciate that, Miss Marie Antoinette Abad. Uh, I would have the same idea too, no? Siyempre, yun din iniisipin ko, no? Uh, are they less funded kaya? Tignan natin, salary double. Almost, talaga nagdoble. Usually, PO1 before is earning about 19,000 to 20,000, I guess, no? Before Duterte, no? Before the President Duterte. Now, nasa 30 something plus, no? 30 plus ang kanilang salary for PO1, no? For patrolman. So, it doubled. Ngayon, are we going to consider that as a less funded agency of the government? Actually, in terms of salary, no. I think one of the reason kung bakit nila tinaas yung sahod nila is uh, that is to reduce yung corruption na nangyayari, no? And I think I've heard that before. That's one of their justification na para mabawasan ng corruption sa PNP and other tribe bureaus as well as the army is that to pay them, no, give them a salary that is equal to the risk, no, that they are taking in the performance of their job, which is we agree, no? Tama naman that lahat ang trabaho ng kapulisan natin ay delikado, no? Yeah, you are kumbaga you are paying, the government is paying them for their life already kasi buhay na yan eh. Buhay ng pinag-uusapan diyan. However, no, in terms of their uh, mga equipments, no, even yung mga offices nila, no, tignan nyo karamihan ng police stations underdeveloped, no. Minsan may tulo pa sa loob, no. Pag umulan na babasa sa loob, di kaya minsan naman, no, considering na siguro may 50 personnel tapos tignan mo yung kanilang office, ang liit-liit, no, yung mga vehicles nila hindi mo na alam kung baka mamaya bigla na lang pumalya, no, habang parang hindi nga makakahabol yung iba, no, pag nagkaroon ng car chase. If you're going to look at their vehicles, yung iba you don't parang hindi siya reliable kasi lumang-luma na, no? Not only in PNP, if you're going to look for BFP, no, sa BFP yung ibang fire truck nila wala nang wangwang, no? Nahihirapan ng kumbaga is nahihirapan ng umakyat sa matataas na lugar kapag puno ng tubig, mga ganun. So we're going to look into their equipment, which is true, ano? Which is true, Miss Abad. That your observation is really true, no? Kasi bakit hindi na lang yung iba, no? Yung ibang funds that they use in doubling or increasing their salaries, the salaries of these police officers should be utilized into the improvements onto the capability, no? O yung tinatawag nating capability building. 'Di ba? Ilaan na lang siya sa pondo ng kung saan is additional training for them to learn more skills, no? That would be appropriate for the current situation that we have in this different problem that we are facing in policing due to modernization, no? So dapat instead of using all the funds, no, for that matter, why not use it for the development, for the improvement of their training, for the improvement of their equipments and so on. Mind you, no, not all police officers were issued a service firearm. No, I heard some na kung saan there are police officers that still is yung mga lumang baril pa rin. If you are going to look at the firearm usually that have yung M16, how old is that? No, gaano nakatanda yung M16 na yan? Sometimes meron pang M14 and so on. Ang tatanda na ng baril na yan. No? Criminal activities, no? I mean criminal organization have ang gaganda ng kanilang firearm, even private armies ang gaganda nilang kanilang firearm because they're funding their equipments. Well, for police officers and other law enforcement agencies, even military, even military, luma na yung mga gamit nila. Yung mga meron tayo, like for example, yung mga for aviation, no, it's not brand new, siguro brand new second hand, na kung saan maybe repainted pero pinaglumaan na ng ibang bansa, no? The firearms are donations sometimes, even donations pa mga yun, no? So walang improvement with regards to their technical capability, no, with their equipments and so on. And I don't know with regards to training if there are additional trainings, pero I think meron naman kasi we can see yung halimbawa sa bicycle patrol, I think they're improving on that. Motorcycle patrol, meron na silang force on that they are being trained regularly. K9 and what else? For cybercrime, meron na silang ACG na that will be in charge in dealing with crime involving cybercrime and so on. So meron sa capacity. No? But then with regards to their equipments, which really, no, sabi nga natin, no, baka ang sinusunod pa rin natin gaya ng pananaw natin noong unang panahon na kalaban natin ng mga Espanyol, no, kalaban natin mga Amerikano, ang gamit lang natin itak, sibat. But that is yes, nangyari yun, no? Some of them succeeded in their battle using bolo and spear, no? Mga ordinaryong weapon lamang laban sa mga single shot rifle ng mga Amerikano, but that was before, no? Kasi single shot pa yan. So habang nagsusud-sud ng bala yung Amerikano, tumatakbo na si Pedro na may hawak-hawak na itak. Pero ngayon, I don't think that circumstances will still repeat itself. Kasi alam nyo naman na, no? Paano ka makikipagbarilan sa isang kriminal kung gamit niya AK, sa'yo naman Glock. Yung Glock 9. Glock. Ayan, Glock pistol. Okay? So, if you can imagine the situation that I'm portraying, talagang there's a need for an improvement and more funding for the capability and capacity of the law enforcement, not just on the salary. I think we can say it's justifiable to increase the salary of the police officers and other law enforcers because they are tinatayan nilang kanilang buhay. But also, sana kasabay rin nito yung pag-increase or pag-develop ng kanilang mga instruments on so them for make them more efficient in the performance of their duty. We can observe such scenario right now, lumalabas due to COVID-19 pandemic, lumalabas na talagang hindi funded ng tama ang ating health system, no? Konti na ito yung maraming isyong nangyayari yung lumalabas na konti ang budget ng ating Department of Health and with regards to the OST sa researches natin, which yun dapat ang mga key agencies ngayon, yung mga key agencies ngayong pandemic, sila dapat talaga ang mas pinagtuunan na budgetan ng ating gobyerno right now kasi they are more on coming up with a solution, hindi delayance, no? kung sana'y napondohan ng ating research institute, then probably they had come up they had come up a better way of dealing with this COVID-19 through research, through conducting or through creating their own vaccine. Now, the same as true with the Department of Health, no? Talaga mapapansin mo right now, kulang tayo sa facilities, no? Kaya nagkakaubusan na tayo ng hospital beds. Ang mga nurses natin hindi tamang nababayaran, no? Some of them sumusuko na sa kanilang duties. Really, it's showing that our health system is lacking, no? The capacity to deal with the current problem that we have right now, pandemic. What it shows is that kung talagang ginigipit mo ang development, ang funding ng isang agency, then definitely it will bite you back. No? What if gawin naman yan sa ating kapulisan, gawin yan sa law enforcement agencies in our countries, that there will be less funded. Ngayon, siguro hindi pa natin napapansin yan. But what if there will be a war that will happen? No? Paano pag magkaroon ng gera sa na ma-involve ang Pilipinas? Do you think that our law enforcement agencies can be able to deal with the war? No? Imagine niyo na lang ang nangyari between Pakistan and Israel. Is that Imagine niyo ang kanilang capacity doon sa is that Israel? Nakalimutan ko na. Pero yung dome of wherein meron silang mga anti missiles, no? I don't think we have that capacity. What if tayo ang paulunan ng mga missiles? Do we have the capacity to repel it? I don't think so. No? Kaya nga, there is a need talaga that all of these agencies should be funded properly. Nagkakaroon tayo ng problema when budgetary constraints are being imposed to these different agencies. No? So, that's one of the problem that we are looking at. With regards to budget, no? Pag medyo nagigipit or ginigipit ang pondo ng isang agency, nababawasan yung kanilang capability in dealing or in performing their duties. Right now kasi the more focus of the many countries is more for less, o yung tinatawag natin that the police officers can or should perform more, no, with the less cost, no, with the lesser cost. So they are expecting, government are expecting the police force to be more functional and be more effective and be more effective for a lesser cost. Yan ang problema. No? You are throwing big expectation for a certain person, yet you are not providing what really is needed, especially with regards to different instruments that are being used, no? To perform his duty. Na kumbaga, para sa isang police, no? Gusto mo siyang makipagbakbakan, magdamagan, pero binigyan mo lang siya ng 3 magasin na bala. So that's the metaphor. That's how we depict the situation, that the principle for more for less. Okay? Now, with regards to innovative policing, marami kasi tayong mga pwedeng i-propose under innovative policing, no? However, we are just going to focus on community policing right now. Anyway, the very concept of community policing, hindi naman na yan bago. But still, no, there are ways to innovate it, there are ways to improve it, no, para nang sa ganun is maging functional pa. Kasi the very basic concept of community policing is to build a good relationship between the community and the police. No? Remember, the police is the community and the community is the police, as stipulated by Sir Robert Peel in his 7 principles of policing. Totoo naman, no, that having a good relationship between the community will definitely benefit the law enforcers in the performance of their duty. No? Kapag cooperative ang ating mga mamamayan sa kapulisan, madali na lang mag-enforce ng batas. Imaginin mo, no, kung ang isang lugar na mas kinakampihan nila yung kriminal kaysa sa pulis, hindi mo talaga mapapasok, no, hindi mo talaga mahuhuli yung kriminal na yan. Kasi nga protektado siya no, ng mamamayan. So if that happens, wala na, no, bababa na ang capability ng police officers, no, bababa na ang kanyang functionality or effectivity, no, as a police officer in the performance of his duty if walang cooperation nangyayari between the community and the police. So the idea of the community policing is to eradicate that situation from happening, no? Alisin nila yung chance na pwedeng mangyari na mas papanigan na ng community yung mga criminals rather than the law enforcer. That is why they had proposed the develop or the enhancement of the community policing na tinatawag. How community policing could be performed? Ayan, of course, the deployment of law enforcement officers to work in around schools. Bakit schools? No? Siyempre, that's part of the community, yung mga social institution natin tinatawag, and one of them is yung mga educational institutions natin. They play very important role in the development of or the increase of criminality. Ang dami na ngayong cases, guys, that criminality are happening inside the school grounds, no? When these children are being exposed to such behavior, there are tendencies that they will adopt such behavior. That's why doon pa lamang ano ba yung usually nangyayari sa ating mga school grounds na pwedeng maging risk factor, kumbaga pwedeng maging dahilan kung bakit ang isang tao mag-turn into criminality. That could involve the use of drugs, that could involve the membership to a gang, no, that could involve even a simple act of truancy, no, substance abuse, and many more. Etong mga act na to, pwedeng nakikita natin or mangyayari yan within school. That is why, to address such problem, no, para mabawasan yung mga kaso ng kabataan natin na nalululong sa droga, kabataan natin na nakikisali sa mga gangs, kabataan na nalululong sa mga bisyo, no, kabataan na nagdra-drop out dahil sa hindi na pag-attend or tinatamad ng mag-attend sa schools and so on, why not deploy, no, ang mga law enforcers natin doon sa areas na to? And also, they should be briefed properly. Pag sinabi nating deploy, hindi mo dalhin, doon ka mag-duty. Hindi mo dinala doon yung isang police officer, tapos ang gagawin niya lang, tatayo doon maghapon. Hindi ganun, no? Dapat alam niyang how to communicate with the school personnels, how to effectively communicate with the students para nang sa ganun, no? Meron siyang magawa, no, meron siyang meron siyang impact na maibigay doon sa area kung saan siya na-deploy, no? Kasi karamihan minsan nakikita natin pag dinala doon sa usually mga police intern, ganun, deploy sila doon sa mga malapit sa police sa mga schools and so on. So ang ginagawa lang nila doon either nag-a-assist ng mga tatawid sa daan, no, and others. Dapat they will be briefed properly also. Dapat sabihan din sila, okay, this is what you do, no? You should set a good example, you should try to motivate them, you should try to coordinate or communicate with them, especially with the school personnel, para alam natin kasi baka mamaya talaga meron palang mga nakapasok na ng mga drug personnels or persons of drug interest na dyan sa school compound na yan na pwedeng i-address ng police officers while they are assigned or while they are deployed in such location. So yun yung mga pwedeng tignan, ano. Next is we have also the additional officers effectively respond to top street criminality, no. Dapat the police presence should be felt, no, especially for street crimes. Ang dami, no. One of our study conducted in a certain municipality focuses especially doon sa central business district nila, no, doon sa kanilang sentro, no. Ang daming nangyayaring street crimes doon, especially focus on property crimes, mga ganun. So with that, no, how effective are the police officer in responding or solving such criminal activity, di ba? Kung meron halimbawa isang pinpointed na lugar na kung saan tinatambayan ng mga addict, no, tapos pag may dumadaan doon, hino-hold up nila, those are street problem that can be addressed effectively by the police officers. Now, to increase the good relationship between the community and the police, dapat they could show that they are active in dealing with those existing problem, no? Kung ano yung mga problemang nakikita doon, no? Even at the street level, kasi yun yung usually nakikita ng community, ano? Pag halimbawa ako namalengke ako, tapos bigla na lang may nagsuntukan sa harap ko and so on, tapos walang responding police, anong iisipin ko? Wala na naman, no? Pangit na naman ang sasabihin ko sa ating kapulisan. Compare that to, no? Compare that to situation wherein naglalakad ka, pumunta ka sa palengke, you can see police officer roaming around there, nagpapatrol doon sa area na yan, every now and then, hindi sila nawawala doon sa lugar na yan, and they're busy interacting with the community, asking for problems and so on, assisting these different people there. Then I would define police officers in that specific areas very efficient in the performance of their duty. Na? With that, ako mismo, na marami akong magandang sasabihin sa ating kapulisan. So, yun yung dapat tinitignan din ng ating PNP organization. No? Remember that on street level, maraming nangyayari dyan. Hindi lang pagnanakaw. Diyan din nagkakaroon ng bentahan ng drugs. Diyan din nagkakaroon ng prostitution. No? Diyan din nagkakaroon ng yung mga transaction from criminal organization, no? Transfer of information. Diyan nangyayari yan. So if hindi visible or the presence of the police officer can't be felt on that specific area, talagang paglulunggaan yan ng mga kriminal, no? Okay, so next is we have use of technology to put more officers in neighborhood, no? What about that? The use of technology should be taken as an advantage for the police officers or for the police organization itself. Na dapat i-take advantage nila yan. Like for example, we conducted a study with regards to the response time of a specific police station. Response time in dealing, no, in dealing with criminal reports, no, yung mga call for assistance, no, and so on ng community. Actually, meron talagang sinusunod na response time ang ating mga kapulisan, ano? Meron silang specific period that pag may tumawag sa iyo, dapat ganitong oras, ganitong minuto naka-responde ka na. Na meron silang sinusunod na ngayon. But sometimes ang naging findings or ang common na nakikita nila is that mabagal, no? Mabagal ang ating mga kapulisan sa pagresponde sa mga tawag. Ngayon, what we should notice with this is that meron naman talagang protocol na sinusunod. And sometimes, the dispatching of the call, sometimes the lacking of personnel, then availability, eto lahat yung problema. Na? Pwedeng ang mangyari is that wala nang available personnel na may pwedeng papuntahin doon sa lugar. That is one. No? Also, they cited that problem. Now, even the COP of that police station had admitted that that is one of the problem. Na kung saan, pag nagkataon na maraming nanghihingi ng tulong, maraming nagre-report doon na kailangan papuntahan ng police officer, kinukulang sila sa personnel. No? Another is the availability of transportation. No? Baka minsan ginamit yung mobile nila, no, para rumisponde sa isa, no? Nagkataon wala nang ibang pwedeng gamiting vehicle, so hindi na naman sila makakapunta. Anyway, there are strategies that the police organizations are adopting in order to address this problem. Now, una doon, yung force multiplier nila. Usually, ang ginagawa nila, pag may tumawag, for example, at a certain barangay, nagpaparesponde, ito namang dispatching officer, si police naman, tatawag sa barangay, no? Ipapa-confirm, papatawag niya kay barangay captain if meron nga bang ganitong pangalan na nakatira sa kanila, just to check, ano? Kasi minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng ambush with regards to that. Huwag kang basta-basta pupunta kung ikaw din police officer, huwag ka basta-bastang re-responde sa tawag without confirming it first. Baka mamaya is may mga nag-aabang na pala sa iyo doon para tambangan ka o di kaya is pagnakawan ka. So, yun yung mga iniiwasan. So with that, now to avoid such thing from happening, no, gumagamit sila ng mga strategies, force multiplier, no, kaya meron tayong mga assets, no, meron tayong barangay tanod, sila ang gagawa nun kasi sila yung nakakalam ng lugar. So pag tumawag tayo ng responde dito sa area natin, si police officer tatawag naman kay barangay captain, i-confirm, papupuntahan tayo kung meron nga, bago sila pupunta. Why? They wanted to avoid yung tinatawag nating trap, no? Ayaw nilang ma-trap. However, there are certain technologies that could help us in reducing such a process, such long process, especially if we are talking about life and death situation. No? Ang hirap naman kasi kapag life and death situation na, meron pang background checking na magaganap. That's a problem. No? Now, if we're not going to provide solution for that, talagang lagi na lang pagdating ng pulis, nakatakas na yung kriminal, nakalayo na yung kriminal, no? Patay na yung biktima, mga ganun ba? So if we are concerned about being ambushed, so if we are concerned about false call, false alarm, and so on, there are certain programs or technologies that they could adopt in order to minimize the case of such a thing. Like for example, no, what if magkaroon sila ng available data, na kung saan we just searching simple tap of the name, simple typing of the name to their system, magpapakita na doon yung background ng isang tao, where he lives, what's his criminal background, no? Ano yung mga ilang beses na siyang nag-report doon sa station, no? Ano pa yung mga personal information niya na pwedeng maka-apekto or pwede nating pagbasihan to judge whether the call really is serious or not serious. Di ba? Parang kumbaga is yung ginagawa nila sa ibang bansa wherein kapag meron silang sinusundan na vehicle, they're just going to type the plate number of that vehicle na sinusundan nila to their system, and they can verify, no, kanino nakapangalan yung vehicle na yon, is it registered, no, and pertinent information. What if gawin nila yan sa tao? No, wherein pag-type, anyway, personal information lang naman, ano, hindi naman yung mga public record lang naman, hindi naman yung mga serious information that is already violation of your privacy. Halimbawa, si Mr. Juan de la Cruz nag-report sa police, no, na siya daw ay kasalukuyan, no, ang kanyang bahay ay kasalukuyang pinapasok ng mga magnanakaw sa ganitong address. So the police officer could type the name of Juan de la Cruz and search and immediately, no, ang information kay Mr. Juan de la Cruz magpapakita na, no, meron ba siyang criminal record, meron ba siyang past record, meron ba siyang records of prank calling, meron ba siyang mga pertinent records ba? Is he really a resident there, no? Tama ba? Kasi you're going to ask, no, ilang taon ka na, what's your name, what's your address, and you need to verify that, no, to the system. So with that, kumbaga is nami-minimize na natin yung delayance of the response. Kasi nga, immediately, no, after the calls had made, no, you can already decide whether to dispatch or not to dispatch a certain officer to the area where the call was made, no? So yung mga yan are part of the innovations that they can do onto the police organization, and there are programs, of course, that had been adopting such ideas in other countries. Another, no, build the future without bullying as part of the community community policing ideas. Build the future without bullying. Why bullying? Bakit bullying? How significant is bullying into the criminal problem that we have? No? Ano yung epekto ng bullying sa criminal problem that we are facing? Sabi nga natin, the juveniles of today are the future criminals, di ba? And those juveniles can either be the bullies, no, or being bullied, who had evolved into bullies. No, dati silang nabubully, pero sila ay nag-evolve into bullies. Or hindi naman kaya is sila yung mga bullies. These are the characteristic of a future criminal we are looking at. Kaya nga sabi ko, don't tolerate bullying. no? Kapag meron kayong kaklase and he is a bully, don't tolerate him. Kung ikaw kaibigan niya, wag mong sabihin, wag mong hayaan o pabayaan lang. Kung siya nakikinig siya sa iyo, pagsabihan mo, na kung ikaw binubuli niya, pagsabihan mo or gawin mo ng paraan para nang sa ganun is mapaalam ito sa tamang kinaukulan. So with that, we are trying to eliminate the possibilities of future criminals. Kasi if you're not going to correct such behavior as early as it is possible, wala na. No? Kaya nga dapat mabago na yan. And that can be done also by having these police officers that would deter them from doing so, na pwedeng pagsumbungan ng mga tao na bubuli. And of course, in relation to that, dapat alam din ng police officer how to approach such problem. Kasi hindi man obra ang hindi naman obra ang punishment or hindi naman obra ang imprisonment for such cases kasi usually bullying involves mga minors, ano? Dapat alam din ng ating kapulisan how to deal with this because this is a serious problem, no? The existence of gang also includes this, no? Siyempre, kapag merong mga ganyan malalakas na loob mambuli ng mga bata, no, kabataan, you would expect that they are also either be abusing substances, no, or they are a part of the abusive family, or they are a part of a gang, yes, they're part of a gang and so on. So with that, no, there should be a partnership between the student and the schools, no, in relation to the behaviors and other concerns relative to their behavior and of course to bullying, no, and then dapat, no, uh, ma-improve din yung tinatawag nating student quality of life, especially if they're in the schools. No? Kasi minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng mataas na dropouts. No? And pag tinanong mo yung mga nag-dropouts na yan, usually are being bullied. No? Sila yung mga naging biktima ng bullying. And what do you expect? No? Kapag pag nag-dropout na sila from school, no? They will have a harder future, kumbaga. And uh, high tendency, no, hindi ko naman sinasabi na lahat, but high tendency, because of that, less opportunity received, they will withdraw from the common goal of the society and they will create their own goals that sometimes is already it's in contradictory with the common goals of the society. Okay? Lastly, vandalism. No? One of the purpose of community policing is the police presence in the communities, the reduction of cases of vandalism. No, kasi that's not a good sign of a certain environment. Kapag increasing and vandalism sa isang lugar, no, yung vandalism guys, yun yung mga it can be destructive or it can be yes, it's always destructive. Yung mga nagsusulat-sulat sa pader, ng mga nagdrawing ng mga graffiti, mga ganun, those are considered as vandalism. Now, if a certain place is like that, you would say that anong ginagawa ng kapulisan sa lugar na to, no? Or kung nakita mo yung lugar na yun punong-puno ng mga vandals, then definitely you would think twice, no? In walking or in sa pamamasyal dyan sa lugar na yan because that could be a sign that that is already an infested of criminal entities. A place where infested of criminal entities. No? So, one of the goal dapat ng community policing natin is to reduce vandalism. That shows that the environment is really positive. No? It's really safe, kumbaga, yung place na yan kapag wala yung mga tinatawag nating vandalism. No? Pagpasok mo sa isang lugar, saan ka mas panatag? Doon sa puro paint drawing ng mga gang signs, mga cursing words, or doon sa lugar na kung saan malinis at walang mga ganong mga vandals na nagkalat. Siyempre, doon ka sa malinis. Yun yung merong positive and safe environment na vibes, kumbaga. Doon sa isa, mag-isip-isip ka na. Baka puno yan ng mandurukot, puno ng hold-upper, and so on. Okay? That applies also to school facilities. Ano? Kung nakita nyo, doon sa schools na yan, puro vandals na yan, you would already think of something, of some program in order to, kasi that is already a sign. No? kumbaga isa na yung sign na pwedeng magsabi sa iyo that the school is already facing internal problem in terms of the behavior of the students and the behavior of the personnels, no? So napaka ano yan, dapat masolusyonan na bago pa siya lumala. Okay? So as I've stated, I'm just going to cover some of the part or important programs that must be adopted under the concept of community policing in relation to innovative policing. No? So yun yung mga pwede nating tignan para nang sa ganun ay mas mapaganda pa natin ang policing system that we have in our country, no? Especially in dealing with the community kasi we know the value of the community to the law enforcement. Okay? Now, we will end our lecture to that. I hope you learned something. Ano? Ngayon, it's your time to ask question if you have any questions. So, pag may tanong guys, tanong lang kayo. So, I guess silence means yes or silence means no. May tanong ba guys? Sinong class president for for second year? May I know?
Ako, sir.
Si Miss Gemma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Gemma. Anyway, pag may mga concerns ako, I will be sending you message, ano? Yan. So, the same thing, no, if there are concerns na hindi nyo kayang i-diretso sa akin, you may message Miss Gemma and siya na yung makipag-coordinate sa akin. Then, kung may concerns din ako, I will coordinate also with your class president. Okay? So, I guess there are no more question, no? By the way, if you have, no, later on, pag may naisip na kayong tanong relative to what we discussed, no, you may message that on the, or you may comment that doon sa ating Facebook group or Messenger. No, I'd be willing to help if there's a need for me to clarify something, especially if those are related to our lectures. Okay? So, if there are no more questions, that's it for today. Thank you for attending this lecture. See you next meeting. Goodbye.
Happy Teacher's Day.
Thank you.
Happy day, sir.
Salamat. Salamat.
Happy Teacher's Day, sir.
Thank you.
Happy Teacher's Day, sir.